Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make, dare I say, the ultimate wooden starter treehouse of 2019 in Minecraft. If you do enjoy these sorts of builds, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click the little bell next to the subscription button to make sure that you don't miss any of these tutorials. Nobody would want that, would they? Let's get started. So, just before we start building, ladies and gentlemen, here are all of the materials that we are going to be using. Please do make sure that you have access to all of those and enough of them as well. The amount of space required to make the treehouse is a 15 by 16 block area. Please do make sure that you have enough room to make it, and even feel free to make this grid in your world if you like. And that's it. Pause the video if you have to. Do make sure that you have all of the stuff that you're going to need to make the build. Make sure that you've got enough room to make it. And make sure that you're prepared to live in a tree for the rest of your natural born life. Let's get started. Step 1, squirrel friends. Come all the way to the front left hand corner of the grid. This does, of course, require that you have a grid. If you don't, just bear with us all one moment. Count to the right from this corner, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then inwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is the starting position. Place an oak wood on this spot. Extend it backwards by 2, 1, 2. Right by 2, 1, 2. Down by 2, 1, 2. And join it together. This will give you what I will refer to as the oak wood donut. I want you to extend the donut upwards by 7 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The reason that we are extending all of these blocks upwards by 7 is so that we have a trunk to our tree. This is the foundation and where all of the build extends out from. Every single part of it. So this is quite important. Once you have finished extending every single block upwards, you will be left with, well, it kind of just looks like an oak wood pasta. Now that you have done this, I want you to grab your oak wood planks and I want you to place a layer of oak wood planks on top of the oak wood donut. We now have an oak plank donut. I want you to extend the oak plank area outwards by 1 in every direction, like this. Now that you have created this oak wood platform, we are going to take the sides of the oak wood platform and we are going to extend the sides upwards. We want to extend them up by 2 rows, 1, 2, on every single side. There isn't much headspace on the inside of the second story treehouse, but this is of course a starter build, so you probably wouldn't expect that. I want you to also, and you'll see why later, add an oak wood plank on the front middle and back middle wall of the treehouse. I want you to grab your birchwood planks here, and I want you to place a row of birchwood planks on the left and right sides of the walls of the treehouse. Grab the birchwood slabs, and starting from the left side of the treehouse, I want you to extend the birchwood plank here, left one, using the birchwood slab, and then forwards, right, up, right, up, right, up. That is the middle portion of the treehouse. I now want you to take the lower part of the slab, and I want you to extend right, down, right, like this. We want to have the same sort of effect on the back. You can even extend the birchwood slabs on the front backwards until they overhang the back part of the build. And then all you have to do is systematically extend them each inwards and upwards until they eventually reach the apex of the roof. Like this. You can then fill in these two little parts here, where the inside of the house shines through the roof, just like this. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take the area that is left, this empty space. We actually want to continue the tree trunk. So the best way to do it is kind of place a row of oak wood around the top of the inside of the empty space at the top of the roof. We can now extend the oak wood upwards a few rows, literally a few, 1, 2, few, like this. So this is going to be the upper part of the tree, and it's kind of like a treehouse lollipop, I guess, in the fact that we've got this trunk and then we've got the treehouse up at the top, and this analogy doesn't work because you don't have an extra part poking out the top of your lollipop. So now that you have done that, I want you to come and join the roof to the tree trunk. So you just have a few bits of birchwood slabs to place, and it will all join together rather perfectly, like this. Now that we have done that, I would like to focus work on the platform. It's quite an important feature. So the platform is going to begin on the front left corner of the build. So this is the front left corner of the treehouse, and we want to extend to the right by 1. And place an oak wood plank underneath. I want you to extend the oak wood plank to the right and around the side of the tree, reaching the middle. We now have to extend this platform outwards. If you take the first block and extend it outwards by 2 rows, 1, 2, and the last block and extend it outwards by 1, 2 rows, then you can just join it all together by filling in those 2 middle parts, like this. On the last 2 rows of oak wood planks, I want you to place oak wood stairs. I then want you to extend the stairs backwards and around the back of the tree using 2 rows of oak wood planks, like this. We want to be able to walk around the side of our treehouse. You'll notice that you have just enough headspace. As we come around the left side of the tree, we want the oak wood plank platform to overhang by 2 rows as well, like so. We now want to start extending downwards. We need to use oak wood stairs for this. So we want to extend all of these, or both of these oak wood planks downwards using oak stairs, and we just want to place them like forwards and down. So there's no easy way to do this exactly, but we're going to do this about 7 or so times. This is the first time, and then this will be second, third, fourth, fifth, 6th, and about 7th. Something like that. I want you to place an oak wood plank underneath the 7th block and place 2 rows of oak planks in front, like so. And all we're going to do is extend those oak planks across, and we're also going to do the same thing with all of these stairs as well. So now you can see that we have created most of a platform. We're now just going to place a couple of rows of oak stairs joining down to the ground, coming right across the front of the tree. So it's quite simple, but we can make it look a lot better. First, we just have to delete all of these, like, I would call them the guiding blocks for the stairs. All of these upside down stairs that kind of look a little bit freaky. There we go. We are going to add a little bit of birchwood planks on the left side of these stairs, starting from the bottom. And we're going to have oak wood planks just coming around the side here, but the left side pretty much like this. I'm going to stick birchwood planks on the ends of the oakwood stairs rows, like so. I'm going to stick upside down birchwood stairs underneath the planks too, like this. That's perfect. And I might just fill in underneath these little oak wood stairs at the bottom. And I'm also just going to add some upside down oak wood stairs just to reinforce the walking platform coming up towards the top. I want to place a birchwood slab trim around the top of the platform, like this. The only difficult part is when we have this drop here. We're just going to have to swap to like birchwood planks for a couple of rows, maybe like one row or so. And then we can place a birchwood slab coming down and then around like this. It will come all the way around until it eventually connects to the under part of the house here. Although my idea is to just add a little bit of leaves here instead. Just like that. And then that looks a little bit more natural. So that is the end result. You can see it looks a lot better already. And I'm just going to add some birchwood fence, primarily around this part here, the lower part of the stairs. Just on the corner, we don't have to add them on the sides of the stairs all the way up. And additionally, when we get all the way up to the top, I'm just going to place some birchwood fence around the top area as well. So here, for instance, and here. Because I just think it looks kind of nice that way. I think it really does just add a little something to the build. So now that we have completed that, ladies and gentlemen, and I mean that's quite a nice looking treehouse all by itself, right? But we want a little bit more living space. So what we're going to do is grab oak wood planks and come to the base of our tree. And sticking out from the front right hand bottom corner of our tree, I want you to place an oak plank. Extend it right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then across by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. And we are going to extend the sides up by 2 rows. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Left a little block there, didn't I? Whoops. There we go. And then all we're going to do is we are going to put a roof on this. So if we take the front right hand corner of the top of this little room, place a birchwood slab, extend it right, and then back, up, back, up, back, up. That's the middle of the tree right there. And then we can start extending down, like back, down, back, down, back. And then you can extend right until it overhangs the side of the build, and then you can like extend in, up, like that. And the same on this side too, extend all the way across, and then like in and up. So it fits the shape of the roof. We only have to place a little single oak wood plank here, just on the side of the roof. And then we can just place some birchwood slabs. It's actually a mixture. It's quite an easy pattern to remember. It's like a layer of slabs, and then you can just use planks for the next layer. And you alternate. It's like plank slabs to fill in the roof. Or you can just use slabs, but it looks a little bit cleaner on the inside my way. So that's kind of what we're dealing with at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, which is looking really good, but we do have just a couple more details to work on before we start talking about the two houses. So when it comes to the upper part of the treehouse, we have a large, big, giant tree topper, and the way that you kind of add this on is by placing a layer of oak leaves all the way around the top of the trunk, sticking out the top of the tree like this. You add a few rows of leaves on the left side, maybe just start off with 2, like on the left side, and you start off with about 2 on the right side. And then you start to shape the top of the tree leaves a little bit, so you'd extend the middle a little bit towards you, like you'd extend like maybe the middle 3 leaves. On the front, you do a similar sort of thing. You just extend like the middle, maybe just a couple of rows like this. It's actually going to end up looking like a pixel art of a music disc, funnily enough. I can see it now already. It kind of looks like a music disc a little bit. But that's kind of like a base shape that you just start to work with. That's what you kind of just start with. And then you can start shaping it, like you can add leaves underneath the base of the tree like this. You add layers. And as I've made many a treehouse, and I always make the same sort of comments because it is true. This is how you make leaves look good. Layers, many layers, random layers, Don't make them look too weird. You don't want it to look too man-made. You just add layers like this. You add them to the top and the bottom. So let's do a little bit to the top as well. You add layers. You kind of follow the shape of the leaves, but you don't just build directly on top of them. Not everywhere, at least. And this is all you have to do. So a little something like that. You can see that we've kind of added another layer on, but it's not quite the same as the previous layer, right? And if you feel as though that the leaves should come a bit more this way, then, you know, you just extend the leaves all this way. Or the same is true if you want it to go the other direction. And it's a lot of pruning and a lot of repetition. But the general gist of things is to make good-looking natural leaves. It requires, number one, a lot of time. And number two, patience. And number three, just loads and loads of layers. That's all it is. Random layers that kind of follow the same sort of shapes that, you know, you establish one shape, which we did. We made like the music disc shape. And then we kind of just add more onto the top, bottom and sides, like that, until your tree... I mean, does that or does that not look pretty good? I think that looks pretty decent, right? That's not too bad. We also want to add some leaves underneath the platform as well. So, just kind of following the shape of the platform a little bit, we're going to have like a... The leaves will start off a little bit square, just as they mold to the trunk of the tree a bit. But as we build around the platform, like, we can start adding a little bit more shape, and we don't want leaves that are too square, really. So we'll just add like a little row here, and that encompasses like most of the platform, just a little bit like this, and we can have them extend back. And then we just want to kind of like just add a couple of rows here or so, just so that it's underneath the platform like this, and just a little bit like that. So that looks pretty good. So it looks like the platform supported underneath. We have the big tree up top. It actually looks as though that we've took a tree and we've actually built into it, which is really cool. So now that we have done all that, and ladies and gentlemen, I do want you to notice that, you know, we've kind of made most of the tree at this point. There's only a couple of things that we have to do to make it our own, so to speak. And all of these are optional. You can or cannot do all of these. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So the first house part of this that we're working on is the lower house. I prefer a doorway here on the front, just one row away from the side. It's of course got to be 2 rows high. I want a small window, 1 row off the ground and 1 row away from the door. But additionally, I think that I would quite like a side window right about here. And this window is going to have a couple of oak trapdoors on the sides. Unnecessary, but it does just add a nice little bit of detail. I of course want to fill these in with glass. And I'm going to refloor the inside of the house. I'm going to use birch planks as a contrast to the oak wood planks. Now, this is all completely up to you. You don't have to add all of the same windows or the same floor or even place the door the same way as I am. That's why this is all optional. I kind of want you to lay it out how you want to have it laid out, but still show you what I would do if, you know, this was just straight up my build as well. So, we have to create a way to get up to the second story of the tree on the inside. So if you create a small gap in the middle of the tree and refloor it as well, you'll notice that you'll be able to place a whole row of ladders coming up the middle of the tree. So that's exactly what we're going to do, all the way up to the second story. We don't really need to do too much here other than break out onto the platform. So the way that I like to have the door is just right here, literally just right here. I like to have that's exactly where. I like it right there. So I think I'll use the stairs for this. Shall I use, you know what, I'll use an oakwood stairs to drop down onto the platform. However, I'd like a birchwood stairs just to the right of it. I want a window here, just to the right of the doorway, similar to what we did down below. I think that I'd like a little window here, maybe on like the back part, just because it's a bit of a different location and I can fill these 2 windows in with glass. And on the right side, I'd actually like a much larger window, maybe like a 2x2 window for a little bit of change. So just here on the side, which looks pretty good. So all I'm missing is 2 doors, one here and one here. And if you feel as though you need just a little bit more leaves, I actually would recommend this, I quite like it, is a little bit of oak leaves around the top of the side here, so just like around this corner, like on the platform, and you can still walk around it quite easily. I really do quite like that little bit of detail. I like the idea of adding glass into the tree as well. So somewhere up the trunk, maybe like here, I like a little bit of glass, so you can just kind of like peek in and you can see a ladder here. And also just like out the top here in the middle, like that. Of course you could place them on the other sides as well, but there's just something about that I do quite like. So when it comes to decorating the tree a little bit more, you may want to spice things up by perhaps adding a potted plant here just next to this entrance. Maybe put an oak sapling. One day it will grow into a wonderful treehouse. I quite like the idea of having some hanging lanterns from our leaf areas. So it's kind of hard to do this in the positions that I have them in, but you can if we add a little bit more leaves. We can add like a leaf here, for instance, and then knock out this leaf, have a green concrete instead of a leaf, and place a sea lantern, or as it is known, a regular lantern, although Minecraft, come on, get it together. They're not sea lanterns, they're regular lanterns. We already have sea lanterns, they're going to get upset. And you will be able to, number one, it makes the leaves look a little bit more interesting if there's a different green contrasting block inside, but it will allow you to hang a lantern off the leaves. Now, why did we do that instead of just hanging lanterns off the leaves? Well, the reason is because you can't, so. Maybe up here as well, this is a good candidate for them too, like if we had a green concrete hidden amongst the leaves, and then a sea lantern hanging off of it. I called it a sea lantern again, didn't I? I'm just as bad as Minecraft. So, I just think that they're 2 nice little features that you can add to your treehouse. It really does make it cozy. When it comes to the area around the treehouse, I like the idea of having kind of like a semicircle shape. So, the way that I plan this out is I take the front right hand corner of the lower house and the edge of the staircase, and I meet them where they would meet in the middle here. And I'm going to place a semicircle of sorts using some oak slabs like this, and it's just going to wrap around all the way to the back of the house, and it's going to create what I might refer to as like a soft boundary around the outside of the house. So something a little like this. It kind of just shows people like this is the area of land around the bottom of the treehouse. Another thing that you can do to the outside of your treehouse is create a grass path between the second level of the treehouse, or the stairs at the very least, and the actual lower level of the treehouse. So a little something like that kind of just shows everybody that it's linked together. I kind of quite like how that looks. What we can also do is we can create a little bit of farmland around the outside of our treehouse. So if we have a hoe, and I quite specifically like beetroot seeds because of the colour that they grow into, I'm pretty artificial like that, I just like the colour, then you can kind of follow the shape of this area a little bit, and I'm starting to wish that I actually built this a little 1 row outwards, but it's alright, it doesn't matter, we can work with this. Maybe join it together at the corners, does that look goofy? No, it doesn't actually, it looks alright. So, that'll actually grow into a really nice colour combination. Beetroot seeds, if you don't know, like, the lower part will be red and the upper part will be a nice, luscious green. It'll really look quite nice once it's done. And once it's all grown, it'll look even better, of course. So, once we have done that, on the back of the house, if you like, you can create a bit more of a utility zone in that you can add a couple of double chests, if you like, or a couple of composters, or something back here that is actually useful in survival. And if you like, you can even create a nice row of flowers coming up the right side. I like poppies for this because poppies are red and green, and beetroots are as well, so they do go together quite nicely into this lovely ensemble. As a matter of fact, we've kind of completed the entire outside of the build, and I'm pretty happy about it. Now, when it comes to the inside of the build, of course, I'm completely leaving that up to you, but just to kind of show you, on the lower level, I like the idea of this as a quick drop-in point. So if you have, say, like a bed here, crafting table, maybe a couple of furnaces, a chest, or maybe even 2. You could have an item frame here, you could even hang a lantern, perhaps like a painting. You can really have quite a few things dispersed on the ground floor and make it nice and survivally. If you wanted to, you could even put a little bit of a door here so that you can keep the middle of the tree separated from this area right here. You could hang anything from the walls. If we come up onto the second story of the treehouse, and again, you know, we are kind of a little tight on space here, but hey, this is what we signed up for. Maybe on this second story, we could have a little bit of a brewing area, or whatever it is you think might fit up here best for you, but first of all, I'm going to add a glass block up here, which I think is quite cool because, like, you can see up into the top of the tree, it lets a little bit of light in and it just kind of looks nice. I'm going to add an oak trapdoor just above here so that we can flip this open and close. I'm going to have maybe a couple of, no, not a couple of cauldrons, just one cauldron. Maybe a build-up of chests here, sea lanterns, maybe like a couple of item frames across here. And you know what, I guess that we really should like place an oak plank here so that we can chuck a brewing stand, maybe fill the cauldron with water, maybe use this side here for a little bit of like a little bit of armor storage. We could even place like an item frame above here. We could even have we could even fill these in with relevant sort of things. So I guess that in here you might place maybe like mushrooms or blaze rods, or, you know, kind of just display what these chests are for, of course. This one is, of course, where we keep our diamond sword. Haha, perfect. And you are free, of course, to use up any of the other room however you see fit. There's not much of it, but what can I say? It is a starter build. So when all's said and done, this is what the treehouse should look like once it has been 100% fully completed. And if I do say so myself, I think it's quite a nice starter treehouse. I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very, very much. If you are new around here, please do consider subscribing if you like these sorts of builds, and click the little bell next to the subscription button, as that'll ensure that all of these videos get sent directly to your sub box. And of course, if you do want to make any more tree houses, any more survival builds, modern builds, city builds, check out the card system, the description below. I'll leave loads of playlists there for you. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I've had so much fun building this along with you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.